नन्दिनि नन्दितमेदिनि विश्वविनोदिनि नन्दिनुते गिरिवरविन्द्यशिरोदिनि वासिनि विष्णुविलासिनि जिष्णुनुते भगवति हेशितिकण्ठकुटुम्बिनि भूरि कुटुम्बिनि भूरि कृते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते सुरवरवर्षिणि दुर्धरदर्शिनि दुर्मुखमर्षिणि हर्षरते त्रिभुवनपोषिणि शङ्करतोषिणि किल्बिषमोषिनि घोषरते धनुजनि रोषिनि दितिश्रुतरोषिनि दुर्मथतोषिनि सिन्धुसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते
Hi guys, thank you for joining the live stream. I hope the audio is coming fine. It is coming fine, right? Let me know if it isn't. So thanks a lot for joining and not unsubscribing my channel, and for still interacting with me on the community tab. Just only yesterday, Mysterious Sociologist was saying that your channel has stopped being a YouTube channel and it's become your Facebook profile essentially. So I think no amount of apologies can make up for the fact that an YouTuber who does not make his living from his channel but has a very, very significant and core dedicated interaction group from his channel, and he disappears for about a month from his channel. Of course, I had my excuses, but still they are excuses, and I just could not manage to come online for all these days. Every day ever since the Durga Puja ended, I've been trying to come online at the 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. window, and every day something or the other comes up. Even today I tried to do it at 7 only because I had these 3 topics in mind, but then again I had to do it at 8:30, so we have just about 2 hours of time to discuss 3 topics and interact with you guys on these 3 topics itself. So since there is no point apologizing, and there can't be enough apologies for this, I won't apologize. No, I'm kidding. I do apologize. I'm very sorry for this. But then thank you. More than apologies, thank you for staying and putting up with me anyway. So let me see who all are here. AB Echo. There's an echo. Why is there an echo? Guys, can everyone confirm if everyone's getting an echo? I was worried about this, that something or the other might be up with the technicalities, because I have not done this for such a long time. There might be some problem. Is anyone else getting an echo? I had forgotten so many things. I think oh no, it's gone. Okay, the echo is gone. Okay. I didn't do anything. So I was thinking that I have I'll probably end up forgetting a lot of English grammar as well, because I have not been talking to anyone in English for all these days. No. Baba is still saying BJP has proved the masterstroke. Wadi is right. While you were away, Maldives bent knee to India and ditched China. Yes. Yeah, and for about up until last 4-5 days, I had not been following any politics at all. All that was on my mind is music. Where to put in which track, how to make this song great, what layer to put in here and there, what show to get to, how to pick up that song. I was completely detached from music, philosophy, sociology, political science. So I was thinking, I had so many ideas in politics and sociology. What the hell am I going to do after coming back? All my ideas. So I kind of did a recap of things yesterday, and I actually watched some of my own live streams yesterday, at least in bits and pieces. So that's how I was able to gain back some of my ideas. By the way, guys, I want to tell you all about particularly these 2 books. These 2 books are very funny. One is, of course, the famous Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. This is the deluxe edition version, which I had bought twice before from Amazon, and twice it came this version only. Usually deluxe editions are insanely costly. But since this book is so old and so thin, so the deluxe edition only costs 500, 600 bucks. So anyway, so I bought this from Amazon, and both times it came from Canada directly, and it was damaged, so I had to return it, and I gave up on the book. Then I went to South City Mall, Kolkata, and found this on the shelf, and I bought it. And then I did not take any plastic carry bag with me, and they also did not give me one, because they said it will cost me another 7 rupees, to which I, being miserly, I did not want to pay it, so I just put it in my bag. And then this section got damaged again. Lol. But the funny thing about this book and the other book I'm going to mention is, you open any page in this book, in during any part of the day, and oh, there's a golden hue coming out. Oh my god, this is beautiful. It seems like a flashback and memory, Twilight. And you find great life lessons. See, I just randomly opened page 126. Okay, let's see if we can understand this. There's this book is essentially a collection of the king Marcus Aurelius, his Facebook posts, his Twitter feed, basically from 2200 years ago. Okay, so Alexander the Macedonian and his groom by death were brought to the same state, because either they were received among the same seminal principles of the universe, or they were alike dispersed among the atoms. Any page you open, there are great things. Okay, um, let's see some cool small quotes. Adorn thyself with simplicity and modesty, and with indifference towards the things which lie between virtue and vice. Love mankind, follow God. The poet says that law rules all, and it is enough to remember that law rules all. See, any page. Another such book is, not the entire book, at least major parts of it, is Beyond Good and Evil by Friedrich Nietzsche, the father of modern philosophy. See, there's a section called Apothegms and Interludes. Okay, that section is a collection of basically his Twitter feed and Facebook posts. Okay, anything you read from here is a great sentence. Let me find out if I remember. Yeah, where his fun ones were. Objection, evasion, joyous distrust, and love of irony are signs of health. Everything absolute belongs to pathology. Where have we heard this before? See, his opposition to the absolutist kind of views that some people are obsessed with. What a beautiful sentence. I just randomly opened page 91. Objection, evasion, joyous distrust, and love of irony are signs of health. See, this means that you are okay with imperfection. All the words he mentioned and the phrases he mentioned, that all basically points to that direction. Everything absolute belongs to pathology. Okay, now the main three topics of today are what happened at Deep Halder's book launch. That actually made me think some stuff and point out some of the flaws of some Indian right wingers. I think even a few days back, a person who has been a guest on my podcast as well put up a similar status, and I discussed this with Mr. Sociologist as well. I think that they are getting one thing wrong about how protests happen. Okay, so let me tell you how this thought came to my mind. At Deep Halder's book launch, firstly, how many of you all have read that book as of now? Because if you all have read that book, you all will know what I'm talking about. The book starts with someone called Sritikona Bishwas. Okay, she is she just recently passed away. Just a little before the Bengali version of the book got released. Okay, so she was the grandmother of the co-author of the book, Dr. Abhishek Bishwas. So Sritikona Bishwas, when she was basically a toddler, or I think she was 8 or 9 years old or something. Okay, that's how the big book begins in the very first page. Sritikona Bishwas is worried that her father might kill his Sritikona Bishwas' sister. This is the scenario that the book starts describing. Okay, why? Sritikona Bishwas' father, Sritikona Bishwas, her entire family, and her young newborn sister were all huddled up together in a college classroom, closing the door from inside, because they were in Noakhali in 1946 during the riots. And right at that moment, her newborn sister starts crying, starts wailing, and they try to hug her. They try to put some candy in her mouth. They try to shut her up. They try to put their hands on their on the little girl's mouths to in order to not let everyone else know around that they are hiding here. But to no avail. That newborn child keeps on crying loudly. So in that moment, Sritikona Bishwas's father says that, as at least described in the book, kind of, as in a matter of fact tone, that I think we'll have to kill her. And the beautiful sentence construction that comes up here in their writing, it's since it's co-authored, we don't know which part was written by whom. But anyway, the way they framed this scenario is Sritikona Bishwas was horrified by what her father was proposing. At the same time, she was horrified by what would happen if he did not do that. Okay. I'm just mentioning this story because something else that was mentioned at the Bengali version of this book's launching ceremony. So a man suddenly put up his hand and said that my father was also shot. My grandfather was shot dead during 1971 partitions. And his father was also shot, and then they came to Kolkata. His father recovered, and then he, at least his father, went back to Bangladesh because of love for their motherland. Okay, I think it's entirely India, and India is the motherland, and Bangladesh is just a fake made up country, which is just a province of India. Theoretically, he could have stayed here and it would still be his motherland. But anyway, his father did not think so. They were proud of their country. So he went back. But then he mentioned that another woman who has been mentioned in the book, okay, who was 12 years old in 2001, which many people argue 2001 was the darkest era in Bangladesh's atrocities against Hindus. Okay, not really 71, not 46, not 47. According to some people, it's 2001 that was the worst phase in Bangladesh. That's when Awami League lost for the first time, and BNP Jamaat came to power, as far as I remember. So that little girl, 12 years old, Hindu, in some random remote village, was involved in the election organizing thing. Okay, like being a polling agent or something. Okay, and then Awami League loses, and she is gang raped. She is still alive. She still visits Kolkata. She's been mentioned in the book, and this man at the book launching ceremony, is talking about her, and he mentions that when she was being gang raped for being an Awami League supporter, she couldn't have even fucking voted, but she was associated remotely with Awami League. That's why she was gang raped. Okay, I mentioned this word too many times. I don't know if it's going to get demonetized. Anyway, yes, Dada, agree. 2001 Hindus didn't do Durga Puja properly. I see. So what this man mentioned was not mentioned in the book. That and actually, I was looking at Deep Haldar's face, and Deep Haldar and Abhishek Bishwash agreed that yes, that is what happened. They just didn't mention it in the book. That when she was being gang raped, when that girl's mother finally gave up, that yes, we can't escape this, we can't run away from this, this is happening, it is what it is, that the mother of that child just pleaded to the future rapists that and I'll say this in Bengali first so that you all understand exactly what was her tone. Okay, she said, বাবারা তোমরা সবাই একসাথে যেও না, এক এক করে যাও. Okay, so what she said was, I think I'll say it in Hindi also so that everyone understands the tone of it. Otherwise in English it won't properly come out. She said that no, I'll say it in English only. My brain freezes every time I think of this incident. This is the most harrowing and insane incident I've probably ever heard of, or heard being described in front of me by someone who knows these people. Okay, that mother said, all of y'all don't go together, don't go at the same time, don't go at a time, at least go one by one to rape my daughter. So my point with all of this was that after the book launch, we had a small gathering. I interacted with Deep Haldar and Abhishek Bishwash. There was a bit of samosas, a bit of tea. I took selfies and stuff with Deep Haldar. On my way home, I thought, what the fuck what are we doing? This was a nice, happy book launch. People are going to make money with it. The publishers are going to make money with it. I got to interact with the authors. It was overall a sort of a nice day for me. But the things we are discussing in the book, that's absolutely crazy, mad stuff. I mean, devastating stuff. So, what are we supposed to do with this? How do we reconcile this? Then I remembered that this is how social justice movements happen. These are the prerequisites. It can't happen without this. There has to be a business around social justice. Deep Halder has to make money. His publishers have to make money. People have to come across as feeling cool for attending that ceremony. I have to have a nice time, basically, going to that ceremony. I have to think good things about myself by attending that ceremony, by reading that book, by buying that book. I bought one copy for my grandmother. Uh, and she said that I haven't even started reading the book. I just read the blurb at the back of the book and I'm already horrified. So I said that although she's a leftist as well, and but she's at least Bengal. So I said that read the whole book and then let me know. So that's what reminds me that 2-3 days back, some Hindutwadis have started saying that, see, the way the leftists are protesting for the Arjikor issue, it's become sort of a festival. It's sort of a celebration. Where's the real passion for the girl who got killed? It can't happen with that kind of asceticism, guys. It has to become a gigantic event, and that's what leftists are good at. You all know it. They run a fucking protest industry. They have specific people for drawing up festoons, placards, Facebook posts, writing slogans, writing poetry, writing songs about the specific topics that they are going to bring up in their protests. It's basically a cottage industry that they run, and basically an unpaid industry, because not all of them are getting paid for attending that protests. They just most of them, the kids who are doing those things, taking part in those actions, they think that we are contributing in our own small way in changing the world. But that is how it has to function. It has to be a celebration. It has to be a large scale carnival fucking event. Otherwise it won't work. It can't happen with, oh yes, do you know what sad thing happened back in the day with some group and we are going to talk about it? No, it can't be that dark mood all the time with these events. It just won't work. You might be sad and feel dark inside your heart. Maybe the organizers know it, but it can't be for everyone. कहाँ जाने की बात हो रही है? Samosa in Kolkata. Of course, Shingara is very famous in Kolkata. Shingara is samosa. Dada also thanks to the efforts of Shahriar Kabir for the coverage of 2000 incident in his books. Even media didn't cover as extensively. Yes. I think he has been cited extensively in the book, as far as I remember. Punjabis, Clean Messenger. Okay, we have a sort of a Andrew Tate sort of a guy here. What do you expect that mother to do at that moment? Kill her daughter. Why does her daughter deserve to die at the moment and not live to tell the tale and tell the world what evil things that country did to her? Brother, welcome to Bangladesh. Worse was done in 1971 and after that. Okay, I want to just point out something Bhupendra said at the beginning. Bhupendra, hi. So he said, I want to do a giveaway for the Bengali translation of Deep Haldar's being Hindu in Bangladesh. It's called Bangladesher Hindu, Hindur Bangladesh. I think it's a brilliant name. Both of that entire phrase is the name, okay? Bangladesher Hindu, Hindur Bangladesh. So anyway, Bhupendra, I think wait for it to come out on Amazon. Then you can do it more easily. Or you have the address. You'll have to interact with everyone and how to give away and stuff. It's going to be a more complex process. I have not asked Deep Halder exactly why it's taking such a long time to get on Amazon. Reminds me of BLM and woke SW movements. Makes sense? Yes. Absolutely, Nandish. So anyway, bye Baba Bistil. Anushilan is saying leftists are doing what Mamta is telling them in the Arjikor case. Shingara is Bihari samosa. Is samosa different then? Are you saying? Holy shit, I didn't know. I thought Shingara is samosa. So the next topic, guys, is the non-Bengalis here. You all, along with all the Bengalis here, absolutely need to watch a movie called Bohurupi. Has any of you all, the Bengali guys here, have any of you all seen Bohurupi as of now? You'll absolutely need to watch it, guys. So I'll give you some reasons. Bohurupi is directed by a director duo. Their names are Nandita and Shiva Prasad. Okay, Nandita Roy and Shiva Prasad, some Chatterjee Mukherjee. So Shiva Prasad, when he first came to the scene, he was already celebrated as a very very promising young actor. Then he got into directing pretty soon, and then he started directing movies with Nandita Roy and came up with pretty offbeat, different kinds of pretty good movies. Then he came up with Rakto Bij, which is probably the first movie that showed that yes, some our bhais, brothers can be in fact uh, terrorists. Okay, that some Muslims can in fact be terrorists. It was based loosely on the life of Pranab Mukherjee. One of the songs in the movie was really a big hit. You all might have heard of it, even if you are not Bengali. It was called Nakku Nakkur. It was sung by Antara and Ankita Nandi of A.R. Rahman's Tamil film fame, and also Ailoma Barite. So anyway, uh, those two directors come up with this movie called Bohurupi. Now, Bohurupi is a distinct local West Bengal based culture, folk tradition, where people in villages, specific people in that Bohurupi profession, of course, dress up in a particular way, depict different gods and goddesses or different imaginary characters. They come up with their own songs and dances, etc., and go from neighborhood to neighborhood, village to village, performing their little skits and performances that they come up with, and they give life lessons and stuff through their stories. Okay, now I was first intrigued by it because see the kind of movies I've grown up watching. I watch one probably Bengali movie in every 2-3 years. I just find them not very advanced. The lack of subtlety and stuff, insanely bad dialogue writing, insanely bad dialogue mixing. I can't stand Bengali movies most of the time. But I was interested in this movie particularly because, first of all, it's directed by Nandita and Shubha Prasad, who did Rakto Bij. Then I got more curious about it because Deep Halder wrote an entire piece about it on the print, on national media, even before Bohurupi released. Okay. Then the very next day, he did a video on it from print. Okay. So I thought, something is up. And then in that article also, they talked about how the Bhadraloks have snubbed the Bohurupi culture forever and after, etc. Do watch the trailer as well, okay, of Bohurupi. And this movie will bring up and rejuvenate that culture, etc. And it is sort of a fuck you to the Bhadraloks of Kolkata. Then I got even more curious because the lead actor in the movie, Shiva Prasad himself, the co-director, he was in the trailers, he was in the posters. I could not fucking recognize him. Okay. Most people could not. I had to watch it 2-3 times and then see the credits and see that, okay, that's actually Shubha Prasad. Because he has never looked like a hero anyway. He always does the cool art film sort of character. But here, he is absolutely unrecognizable and he's the protagonist and he doesn't look anything like a hero, which is what is pretty common in South Indian films, right? That it's the hero does not have to be that fair skinned guy with six pack abs. Finally, for the first time, at least on this particular topic, Bohurupi already ticks a box. Okay, that it's a story centered movie. It's a character driven movie. It's a good acting driven movie. It's not an abs driven movie. It's not a fitness driven movie, guys. That already intrigued me. Then one song after the other kept coming out. The first hit song from the movie was Dakatia Bashi, in which Kaushani is the female lead in the movie. Kaushani, for those of you all who don't know, see, I've forgotten English so much. Kaushani is a TMC MLA or MP something. Her husband is another actor, Bonnie, who stood in elections for BJP in the very same elections in 2021. Kaushani stood for Trinamool, Bonnie stood for BJP. Okay. Then ED sent some guys after Bonnie only, not after Kaushani. That's some insane stuff. So Kaushani, I think, has never looked this graceful in a movie. Okay, there was something definitely up with the makeup and stuff. Oh, I think she did a lot of Botox and stuff on her face as well. But the way he danced in that super hit movie Dakatia Bashi was very graceful, very tasteful, and gives you sort of a positive vibe. Okay. But then a song called Tui Amar Hoye Ja came out, about which I wrote about a 5-page article yesterday on Facebook. It's the most phenomenal song in Tollywood I have ever heard. I can't remember. We do have some amount of recency bias, right? I can't think of a better song than Tu Amar Hoye Ja in the last 20-30 years of Tollywood. I think Bojana She Bojana by Arijit Singh came close. Fabulous composition arrangement. Then I start noticing who all have been involved in the project. Okay, in the music of the film, at least all of them basically newcomers. Okay, the main guy who has been credited with doing the music overall, or let's say, let's call him the music supervisor of the film. Okay, it's not like he did the entirety of the background score or he did all the songs, etc., but he was involved in some way or the other in every aspect of the music of the film. Okay, that guy is Bonnie Chakraborty, who is sort of a cult legendary hero among Bangla rock fans for having sung that song called Bhebe Dekhecho Ki Tararao Joto Alok Borsho Dure. Okay, the Hindi of which was sung by James in Pritam's work. Okay, Na Jane Koi Kaisi Hai Ye Kahani. Okay, that was the song. Okay, Bonnie Chakraborty is the guy who sang the original one. So he is the one who has composed Dakatiya Bashi and stuff. He did not compose Tui Amar Hoye Ja, but it was composed by another incredible guy who has not worked in Tollywood for 6 years and then comes up with this absolutely brilliant composition. All of the songs have been arranged by a guy called Shudipto Pal. Very, very good arranger, good programmer. He's done the music programming. And the background score has been done by my favorite singer-songwriter in Tollywood, Tamal Kanti Halder. At least he has been credited with the music programming of it. It's been, I think, collaborated and supervised by Bonnie Chakraborty as well. So the background score is the only thing in the movie that sucks for some reason. I hope Tomalda is not listening to this review of mine, but he does not do such bad music and bad background score ever in his life. Okay, I think it might have been a problem with the taste or the amount of time he was given, or the taste of the director or the producer, or maybe Bonnie Chakraborty has bad taste in background music. Who knows? But the background score is the only thing that keeps on distracting you, keeps on not letting you get fully engrossed in the movie, because the background score is essentially sort of a cheap video game PUBG sort of a background score, whereas the way the movie is, it should have been a background score like Kantara. It should have been heavily steeped into Indian folk instruments, which the songs are. The background score isn't. That was a weird decision. I think it's a budget issue. It's not a very high budget film. Then let me tell you what good things the Bohurupi movie has done. It has already almost, or I think if not completely beaten Tekka, which is a gigantic release for Durga Puja, and both of which have beaten all Bollywood releases, by the way. So Tekka, the hero is Dev, the Trinamool MP, the three-time Trinamool MP Dev Adhikari, directed by Srijit Mukherjee. The heroine is Swastika Mukherjee, the most popular actress in Tollywood. Okay, all of them are almost being beaten by a lower budget movie with so many newcomers in so many aspects, and a guy who does not even look like a fucking hero. Okay, now let me tell you what's up in the movie. This is if there's a sort of a mountain of films, and the mountain is all about films which are full of subtle messaging. Okay, this movie is at the top of that mountain. Shiva Prasad and Nandita have hit the pinnacle of subtle messaging through this movie. You won't believe the kind of messaging and the kind of thoughts and ideas they plant into your head, into the layman commie. Okay, the movie, first of all, has a protagonist whose surname is Pramanik. Okay, I think this is probably the first Bengali movie that I can think of which does not have a Brahman, Boidyo, or Kayasto protagonist. Okay, even though Shiva Prasad himself is Brahmin, but he knows that, maybe unknowingly even, he probably does not check out our live streams, or has not probably read Shekhar Bandopadhyay's work. He might have, but he has pointed out that let's go for some other surname. It's the villages, and who are the poor people in the villages in Bengal? It's mostly non-Brahman, Boidyo, Kayasto. So he goes for Pramanik. Then the look again is like an absolutely random lower middle class guy in West Bengal. Pronunciations are pretty much on point. The vibe, the acting, the expressions take you deep into the villages of Bengal. if not at least the mafiosos of Bengal, you do get into that zone. Okay, you don't remember that you are sitting in a big movie theater inside a shopping mall. Okay, I watched it in South City. I did not feel that way. I was steeped into it. I would get even more steeped into it if it had more budget for the background score and it was like a background score like Kantara. I would argue at least this, that this is the Kantara of Tollywood. Okay, it's nowhere near as good as Kantara, but compared to the rest of Tollywood, this is fucking Kantara. This is our answer to Kantara. Okay, take it for what you will. Then the movie starts by showing how corrupt the government is. Okay, and a dialogue that keeps on coming back in the movie is that it's the government who is the biggest thief. So as a libertarian, I felt absolutely overjoyed with that sentence repeatedly in the movie. But their masterstroke was an insane masterstroke. The movie starts with, in a flashback scenario, they are depicting the era of CPIM's rule, but they show one after the other crimes which were being apparently done in the CPIM era, which are done in the exact same ways, if not more brutally, today under Trinamool's rule. Okay, so no one can say that you were showing Trinamool in bad light, and no one can say that you are being one-sided, unfair, and stuff. He's just showing it's the government that's the culprit. And see, we're not even talking about modern times of West Bengal. We're not giving any subtle messaging about you need to wake up and awaken your Kshatriya spirit and throw away these governments, etc. It's not a political movie. It's a fun, interesting crime thriller. But it's the government who is the culprit. And see what they were doing in the past years. Now, what's their second masterstroke in this one action itself? Such vehement criticism of CPIM, okay, guys, also has never really happened, except by some B grade, C grade Trinamool supporting movies. Okay, so in one stroke with one stone, they hit two birds. One is they show how bad CPIM was, and they fucking equate it with today's government, and they get away with it. No one's making any protests about it. No one's bothered about it. Of course, at the moment, Trinamool does not have any leg to stand on, so they can't really attack the movie. But even if they had the time and resources and the energy to do it at the moment, I think they would not have been able to, because he's showing CPIM's era. Okay, that is absolutely an insane genius decision. Next is Abhijan is saying, Dada, I'm seriously saying only way to get okay. So next, another insane thing that he does is anytime there is an occasion for some sort of a gigantic political dialogue or social message, okay, they just touch upon it and immediately move on. Okay, because they have faith in their story. They are not woke idiots who are making a movie, right? So I'll give you two examples. One is when they're mentioning that, see, Bohurupis have had such a tough life, they just say one sentence about it. They say, what have these Bhadraloks done for Bohurupis? Okay, and then they move on. The character doesn't says something else. Okay, they don't make another 15 minutes on that fucking point, that yes, rest of the story aside, we are now going to discuss the tough life that Bohurupis have faced, which is the mistake idiot woke directors do these days. Okay, all of a sudden in a movie about superheroes, I'm supposed to learn about patriarchy. No, that's not what Shiva Prasad and Nandita do. Then another masterstroke. The other female co-lead is she's not the main protagonist. I mean, I don't know what's the term for this, or I've just forgotten English for coming online after 3 weeks. Is Rita Bhori Chakraborty, who has put on a lot of weight for the character maybe, but she has been shown as someone suffering from bipolarity disorder. Okay, so the moment they said, the therapist said to Rita Bhori's husband, played by Abir Chatterjee, that your wife has bipolarity, I thought, okay, is this movie now going to do a lot of virtue signaling about the insane troubles of and the unspoken troubles of mental health? Because I know the way Rita Bhori's character has been shown there, if someone does suffer from bipolarity and then they reach the point that Rita Bhori's character has reached, then there's nothing you can do about it. Then yes, then absolutely anything the therapist says you must do. There's no fucking way you can come back from it without a therapist's help in the situation that Rita Bhori has been depicted. Okay, but how she got to that point, there of course we have I have a lot of disagreements with the mental health mafia. But anyway, Shiva Prasad and Nandita, the directors, don't do any of that. They show Rita Bori as someone who is making her husband's life hell. This is insane. I never expected this. I don't think anyone in Bollywood is going to do this today, guys. If there's any mention of mental health today in Bollywood, they are going to only talk about how society, people, their parents judge them and don't understand them. Fair enough. Maybe that's how Rita Bori ended up that way. And they'll end up making the movie about that for at least 15-20 minutes. They don't even do that. Okay? Rita Bori has absolutely been shown as an annoying wife. And then her husband, Abir Chatterjee, has been shown in a glorified position that even after all this, he is so much in love with his wife that he still manages to find a way to stick with her. Okay, so bipolarity 0, husband 1. Okay, now next, another chance that they get for social message. They not only use it for just one sentence, they in fact use it in favor of the man. Again, these things are fucking unheard of in Tollywood. Okay, you won't believe it. So the context is that Rita Bori was married off to Abir without informing Abir. It was an arranged marriage since it's describing 90s West Bengal. Abir was not told that she has mental disorders. Okay, so now Rita Bori's mother, Abir's mother-in-law, is coming to live with them, and at one point, Rita Bori's mother blames Abir for this. Okay, and says that, see, you have such a busy lifestyle. Since Abir is a police officer, by the way. Okay, so since you have such a busy lifestyle, there's no schedule when you come in and when you go out and stuff. That's affecting my daughter even more, and that's why she's becoming crazier. So at that point, Abir finally cracks and says that no, she is crazy today because of the way y'all brought her up. Okay, if you don't think she's crazy, why did you even hide it from me? Okay, and then he says, stop having these backdated ideas that just because a man is busy with his work, he's cheating on his wife. Okay, and then moves on. This is a dialogue I never thought I would have heard from Tollywood in the next 150 years. And Shiva Prasad and Nandita have done even that. This is unbelievable. Now, their depiction of Muslims in the story, there is some, I think, significant subtle messaging. There are two Muslims depicted in the entire story. One of them, both of them are career criminals. One of them is someone who has gotten imprisoned for his entire lifetime in Alipur Central Jail for robbing banks, but he is sort of a mentor to the lead actor, to the lead protagonist. Okay, the other guy has a small dialogue, but in that dialogue he says, what's his next plan for? He's also a thief. Okay, his next plan is that he will steal some Hindu in some Hindu mandir. So someone in the audience, some leftist in the audience might think that what, Shiva Prasad and Nandita ended up making an Islamophobic movie. One guy is a lifer, although he's sort of a good, friendly elder brother to the protagonist who is Hindu. But then this other guy is also a thief and is planning to steal idols from Hindu temples. What the fuck is going on? I'm going to accuse this movie of Islamophobia. But then in the very next scene, the plan shown is that he, the protagonist, Pramanik, he also decides to rob a Hindu temple. Okay, then this might sort of put some water in the fiery heart of a leftist that, okay, he's showing the Hindu guy also trying to rob a Hindu temple. But then we are shown that he was actually planning to not rob the temple. He was actually planning to invite Abir in a fierce face-off and challenge sort of a situation. Okay, so Abir then is saying, guys, who is the woman in the right side of the... Yeah, that's what is going to be the next topic of our discussion. Okay, that's Anna Kasparian. Some Manosphere content, guys. Yes, that's what's going on here. So, see, these are the insane things, unheard of before things in Tollywood that this movie achieves. Okay, and more importantly, it gives you a very, very village sort of a village-centered vibe. And more importantly, the only two Bhadraloks in the film are very, very, let's say, almost insignificant and in some ways flawed, evil, etc. Rita Bhori is one Bhadralok who's bipolar and is making her husband's life hell. Abir is a police officer who is part of a system that's being absolutely evil towards common people. The villagers in the story are the real protagonists, who are not even upper caste. Now the Bhadraloks, the other thing about the Bhadraloks is that he does give Bhadralok surnames to Rita Bhori and Abir, okay, and does show that even when Abir gets a police quarter to live in, it's an absolute sort of a palace, okay. So I think they do it deliberately. They show these things deliberately, that Abir is living the life of a Bhadralok with that olden days TV that some people had in the 80s and 90s. It had a big gigantic TV cover, and there was a door that would shut in front of the TV, and you open the door and watch the TV, etc. That's how Abir's home is, okay. So if I can think of any other point, I'll remember to talk about it. That you should join left again to now, as a surprise, we have Mysterious Sociologist with us. We'll discuss 10-15 minutes of Bohurupi with him, and then we'll get to the next topic, and you all will share your stories with us in the comment section. Why y'all left the left, just like Anna Kasparian has done. She is the co-host of the most famous political discussion platform in the United States of America, The Young Turks, with Cenk Uygur, an atheist Muslim. Anna is fed up with left. So that reminded me that why did you all leave the left? We'll discuss all our stories. This is going to be sort of a support group, a mental health support group, and we are going to discuss our stories, how toxic and abusive our exes in our political relationship were, not real life exes, as in a political ideology that was our ex-girlfriend or boyfriend, and what we did to escape from their hands, okay? So, hi, Mysterious Sociologist. Are you here? Let me put on my head.
Welcome to Facebook Live, guys.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So, Mr. Sociologist, what do you think of the stuff I have mentioned of with Bohurupi? Why do you think they are different?
I couldn't hear the first part because your mouth was away from the mic. What is
Okay.
different from Bohurupi?
Yeah. What is different about Bohurupi?
Oh,
as
what
far
is
as
different
you've
about
understood?
Bohurupi? Okay.
Yeah.
The first thing that struck me now, I haven't watched Bohurupi. I was forced to watch Tekka. Okay. and
Okay, sorry. I have to mention one other point. I thought everyone will like Tekka and Bohurupi will वो इतिहास के पन्नों में कहीं खो गया, ये होगा Bohurupi के साथ. Then I'm basically observing that anyone who's watching both Tekka and Bohurupi, all of them have said Bohurupi is a far, far better movie. And that makes me insanely happy. Although the song Tu Yamar Hoye Ja is a gigantic flop. It's gotten about 50,000 views in about 2-3 weeks, which is absolutely fucking hilarious because it's the best song in Tollywood in 30 years. So yeah, go ahead.
So Tekka is like, I remember this meme that was there. You guys remember that movie where this guy Brad Pitt was a baseball coach, Moneyball. Okay,
Moneyball.
And he had a like a diagram. He had a depiction where here's the A teams, and then there's 50 layers of shit, and then there's us. And so I'd say there are movies, and then there's 50 layers of shit, and then some other crap, and then there's Tekka. Okay, and not just that. Tekka is very stupidly woke, okay, which is exactly what Bohurupi isn't, from what I heard of you,
right.
Of your review. It's very typical. It makes its messages more important than entertainment.
Right, exactly.
Horrible production, okay, no doubt. I think Srijit just goes into autopilot sometimes for these movies. He didn't even it's like ChatGPT wrote the script, okay.
Srijit, what I've come to understand about Srijit is that he basically treats filmmaking as his day job now. It's just something he needs to do to keep up his lifestyle. Because remember, we had this argument that the only reason Srijit keeps making one hotshot movie after the other, even though he started his career with such brilliant movies, is because he doesn't have enough money to pay someone to write a script for 2-3 months. He's going to do it, ask people to do it very, very fast, which is why he doesn't care anymore. He's going to come up with bad scripts and execute a bad movie. But he's still a great director because see what things he has achieved with Shekhar Home, the Bengali adaptation of Sherlock Holmes.
Awesome. Shekhar
Everyone is
Hum
saying
was awesome.
it's an awesome stuff, and
Exactly.
it's the same guy. So all he needs is budget and a bit of more time. And with more time, you'll of course need more budget, because you can't give 2,000 rupees to a music producer and say that yeah, take your time. No, if you
Yeah.
give him 2,000 rupees, he's going to give you in 2 hours only.
No, but I mean, Tekka was there. I knew that so firstly I went in for another reason. Like, I was forced to watch again. Like I said, I usually stopped watching Bengali films like a while back. But the reason I wanted to watch Tekka was I thought, like Prodhan, they would expose the kind of job scam. Okay, that's what I heard
Talk about
because of
Pradhan. Talk about Pradhan. Talk about
yeah.
Pradhan.
So Prodhan was another weird movie where again the Tekka team is mostly there. Like
I
Dev is
see.
there, Neil Mukherjee is there, all these guys. So there in Prodhan, like some of our like the members know of our live streams, the membership only people, they will know that we highlighted that Prodhan was a very strange movie because it totally exposed some of the stuff that's happening in West Bengal today. Okay, like absolute corruption, ballot, stealing elections, like rigging elections. A lot of like the roads are horrible, the police are horrible, etc. That kind of thing. So somebody had announced that Tekka would be Dev's crusade against the job scam, which you guys, if you Google a bit, you'll get to know that in West Bengal there's been a huge job scam a few months ago.
I thought
Now,
so. It would be about that only.
me too. But unfortunately, it's none of that. Okay, I won't tell you the ending, but I'll just tell you that it justifies love jihad. Okay, and it
Oh,
does a whole lot of stuff that you like. It's horrible. Like if you can't sit through the movie. Okay, I was
I see.
literally like looking at my phone for updates and stuff while watching it. A horrible movie. Okay. Having said that, I now understand why Shostika and all these people who are a part of that movie came out on the roads to promote protest, quote unquote, the RG Core issue. Okay, so basically what happened is I think they knew that they have like a turd on their hands, and unless they
Hmm.
promote it like the way they did, the movie wouldn't have had any kind of footfall, I think.
Hmm.
And I have a feeling that the collections have been good so far because of the Srijit and Deb and Shostika, left, right, whatever, everyone comes together to watch it. But I think because of the word of mouth, and it's so horrible, the word of mouth, I think its collections will dip while Bohurupis will go up, because I have not heard anyone say a single bad thing about Bohurupi. If anything,
Yes.
everyone's gushing about it. So
Yes.
I think my next watch will be Bohurupi basically.
Hmm.
Uh, anyway, that's the thing. Like
So
Bohurupi, thing that struck me the most was
yeah.
the lead, the protagonist name is Pramanik, which is something I did not expect. Like एकदम लो भी जाते हैं तो in typically the protagonist name is like Dotto or they or something. इससे नीचे तो नहीं जाते हैं typically. But
Yeah.
that was interesting. I
Yeah.
think some part of Bengal intelligentsia is addressing the issue of caste.
What I've
Okay.
come to realize is that remember, right before BJP came to power in 2014, it had kind of become sort of a cool thing to say that yes, how much in shambles our Bengali society is, that there are no jobs and stuff. Everyone is a fucking idiot. Our education system is a joke. Then right when BJP came to power, everyone sort of got defensive and insecure, and therefore started saying that no, we are superior than all these Bihari UPite BJP supporters. And then I think they have lost that inhibition. They've had enough, and they are
Yeah,
realizing that they're going to work in BJP run states anyway. So
exactly.
fuck this shit. We are back to criticizing Bengal the way it is, and which is why I'm going on sharing post after post from absolutely random Bengalis who are basically that by default leftists, who are
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
how much different aspects of Bengal suck all of a sudden. And then a movie like Bohurupi comes out. And see what Nandish is saying in the screen. Okay, see the comment. He's saying such progressives are ahead of the curve in every political upheaval, and they know how to survive.
And in
This is the
Bengal,
core thing.
this is mostly the Bhadralok class. They will always be
Yes.
ahead. because of the
Yes.
power of words, right? Like without the power of words, you can't have. Even the French Revolution needed words to kind of guide them. Yeah, I remember Joydeep. I remember that
I have
particular.
not watched Shekhar Home. I don't have any subscription other than Netflix, but okay, I see.
I saw it and he's right. Joydeep is right. I think nowadays this one Srijit has taken it upon himself to justify his Bangladeshi funding. So I guess he will
But we
continue.
know he has other plans, right? See, even then he's doing it. He's that.
Of course, yeah. You
I
and
mean,
I have heard of other plans. We won't
yeah,
say it now. We will
yeah.
maybe
He's
say it
dialed
later.
into playing, dialed into the idea of playing both sides so much that he's going very, very left. Yeah, and
I mean,
so
if you think of it, Gumnami was an absolute slap on the
yeah,
CPIM and Congress in many ways, right?
right.
So the
Yeah,
old left, I think, एक चीज हुआ है, which I think we can agree. The old left has been challenged, like challenging the old left, like Congress and CPIM.
exactly.
That's now fashionable. That's very much there now.
Not very much, but it's
Certainly
oncoming.
coming up. Like it's certainly
Yeah,
a like rising tide, right?
right.
And it will catch momentum. It will catch
Yeah,
momentum. I can feel it because one thing that happened very interestingly when the doctors, the RG doctors, they said that we don't want BJP with us. We don't want Hathras and Unnao
yeah,
people with us. Okay,
yes,
a lot of the public fervor just dissipated. So what happens is now you can understand that BJP doesn't just get 40% vote because Bengali Hindus are hating on TMC. BJP is getting the 40% vote also because BJP ka ideology is appealing to a certain group of educated people. In fact, some people have even told me that they have been watching movies like Kerala Story and Kashmir Files in West Bengal, in Calcutta. People who are typically, very Ganga Jamuna Tehzeeb type characters. Okay. So that's what. Yeah, Dog Day Afternoon. Dog Day Afternoon, फिर भी अलग. I mean, it was brilliant. Thank you, Anushul and Samiti, for reminding me. I mean, you can't really compare it with Dog Day Afternoon. Such shit. Yeah, there was a movie by Denzel, John Q, where Denzel holds hospital ransom to get his son treated. That to uska copy tha by Sanjay Dutt. There was a movie by Sanjay Dutt that did the same. Like he held a gun to a doctor and said ki mere bete ka ilaj karwao. So that same thing is there in Tekka, but horribly done, like terrible. Okay. So anyway.
Okay, I want to, I think, make I just thought of another point why Bengali scripts are usually pretty bad. Yes, last night, for the first time in my life, I read Bomkesh. Okay, Bomkesh Bakshi. For those of you who don't know, Sushant's movie. Okay, Vyomkesh Bakshi. So that Bomkesh Bakshi is a basically an adult detective story that was very popular in Bengal forever. But I did not read Bomkesh because the moment I grew up, I started reading only English books. Okay, so I've read each and every Feluda book, Tenida book, Kakababu book, the stuff that every Bengali kid reads. But then after growing up, I did not read any Bengali story book. So yesterday, when I'm reading Bomkesh for the first time, I bought a Bomkesh Homogro from CPIM's bookstall from last year's Durga Pujo. And someone was pointing out in our Facebook
I am
feed, remember
unfriending
that
you. I am unfriending you.
but this actually goes to makes actually agrees with your point. Remember the stuff you tagged me in, that Hindutva bookstalls are all about just only right-wing stuff, whereas leftist CPM bookstalls are about such a variety of things that every year, even after
Yeah.
turning a right-winger, I do
Yeah.
find something or the other to buy from a CPIM bookstall.
नहीं, look at it this way. ये interesting चीज है. The biggest irony is Sharadindu Bandyopadhyay was a right winger in all sense of the term, right?
Right.
Like Sharadindu Bandyopadhyay was not a leftist in any way, and his books are being sold by the CPIM, not in BJP stalls. That's the worst.
The only remotely similar thing I could think of is, of course, I bought Sitaram Goel's book from VHP's bookstall in Book Fair, but Sitaram Goel has been critical of VHP as well. But still, you see, it's sort of that asceticism and hardcore political thinking of a mindset that I was talking about in the beginning, which basically makes the right wing everywhere in the world lose. That they can't make a celebration out of an event or a thought process or an idea or a social justice situation. Okay, so it's all going to be all about how dedicated you are to your motherland and stuff. It's not going to be a celebration. That it's not going to be a cool thing to celebrate your motherland, not with their actions at least. Okay, it's going to happen because of other stuff, but the way they are doing it, it never becomes that way. So even if they do showcase or exhibit Sitaram Goel's books, it's still not the way CPIM is achieving these things. CPIM's bookstalls are a celebration of books and art and literature, poetry, because they display all kinds of books. But anyway, not all kinds of books. They are not going to display Sitaram Goel's books, of course, but at least the mainstream Bengali stuff as well, at least. Now, reading Bomkesh, the very first story is the story Shottanneshi, okay? The very first Bomkesh story ever, okay? And I come to realize this seems so much ahead of its time. This seems like any good thriller movie that I would watch today, Netflix, made outside India, or at least maybe possibly in Mumbai, Tamil Nadu, South India, somewhere. Okay, a story like that, word for word, can't be turned into a movie today in West Bengal. No one will fucking get it. So I realized what an insane. I actually fathomed last night how much of a degradation in general Bengali intelligence has happened because of CPIM's education system. No one can understand that story today. Okay, in not no one, I mean in the middle and lower middle class strata of society outside Kolkata, maybe. Okay, maybe even in Kolkata. Okay, the main problem I have with Tollywood, which is why I watch only one Bengali movie probably in 2-3 years, is that there's no let's say no chance of showing any subtlety, right? Every idea that the actor or actress is thinking, they have to take the help of some exposition. Okay, they have to go around explaining every fucking thing in the story, or no one else gets it. But Bomkesh, about 100 years back, was being written in a way that as if it's common knowledge, everyone gets these things. The mystery was already 2-3 layers down. You have 3-4 suspects in your mind as the reader yourself. Okay, then there are terms, concepts being discussed which no one fucking knows in Bengal today. Okay, again, by no one I mean the majority. Okay, how was this happening 150 years back or 100 years back, and today it won't?
That's the British education system, bro. I mean, it wasn't bad. I don't like it when, I know a lot of people will not agree with us on this, but Macaulay utna bhi, they didn't ruin the education system. They didn't stop people from thinking per se. Like you have one of the best outbursts, I would say, of literary brilliance in the early 20th century because of the way in which schools were strict and people were reading all kinds of stuff. And look, I envy you, because I read Bomkesh when I was in school and I loved it absolutely, and now I would give anything to reread it with a fresh mind, right? Like,
even though you were in an English medium school, even that can't happen today.
Exactly. Oh, even worse. Yeah, the language in Bomkesh is quite difficult for an average Bengali today.
Yeah, it's quasi Bonkim.
Exactly. And I remember some puns, and I won't tell you guys. I think all the Bengalis, and even if you get a decent English translation, I think you guys should read it. The guy was talking about all kinds of gadgets and stuff. I mean, those were the highlights. Those are like the highlights. But some of the, even like, there's a story called Durgora also, which you won't believe it. I went halfway through I went 60% through the story. I'm like, where the fuck is Bomkesh? Bomkesh is not even there. This is a historical novel. Okay, it's huge. Okay, I kept reading, and all these ancient stories of how a fort is. Bomkesh enters in, like, after 70% of the story is done, Bomkesh enters. Okay, now I'm telling you, man, it was even Feluda, which was written in much more simple language. Okay,
it's for kids. Feluda is for kids.
Even though it's for kids, the funny thing is, if you read some of Feluda, there's aspects of Mahabharata and Ramayana. There are aspects of, all like epics, Iliad, Odyssey, all this stuff. Like there are scientific inventions, the death of Abraham Lincoln, Kennedy, all this stuff. You get like a ton of knowledge just by reading detective stories. If you read Feluda,
Feluda was basically the equivalent of Tintin for us, because it became your political science and geography, world history, everything in that series. Tintin was like that as well.
And honestly, if you read Satyajit's short stories in
I haven't.
original,
Okay.
you must, because so Satyajit, you know something, it's very brilliant. They call him a leftist, right? In the sense that he was a secular, like he directed Ganashotru, which was basically CPM propaganda. Okay. And Hirok Raja Deshe, CPM likes to claim that, you know,
It's about China.
It's about
Congress.
It's about Congress, but it was pretty
It's about
much
China, basically.
But
Professor
now
Kaushik
they
Gangotpadhyay
say
proved it.
something else. They're like, we allowed Satyajit to make that movie. Okay, so we were magnanimous, we were democratic. Anyway,
no, but Professor Kaushik Gangotpadhyay in my podcast pointed out that it's actually about China. It was about Mao.
It is totally and completely like that. But my point to you guys is this, that if you read original short stories by Satyajit Ray, you will be fascinated. In his science fiction, he brings about concepts from the Puranas and Mahabharata and Ramayana quite repeatedly. RSS Kadalla Pura, you must read. There is a story called Brihot Choncho. I won't give out the ending. I won't tell you guys much, but Brihot Choncho, if you guys read, it actually supports a very RSS ideology regarding food. Okay, food leke he had lectured us through a science fiction story
called
Brihot Chonchu. Okay.
Oh, why can't RSS bookstalls have these books?
No. They must know. I mean, most people will never know because they haven't read this stuff, and this is very mainstream. When I was growing up reading all this in school and college, for me this was like average stuff to read, like Bonki and all. They were like the higher stuff you must read. Right. This is like basic knowledge you must have, like Satyajit Ray and Sharadindu Bandyopadhyay. Thank God we didn't have smartphones back then. I honestly.
Exactly.
But the other thing is, thank God also that we had better quality of teaching. I guess that we were able to read this stuff on our own. Okay.
Yeah, today's English medium guys can't read unless they are in the Lamartiniere and South Points and stuff. They can't read too many advanced. They can't read even advanced English stories and Shakespeare and stuff, and they can't even dream of reading Bengali books. Like even when I was in school. Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I say the numbers 75, 73 and stuff, and then they stare at me with a blank face. What the fuck is that number? And the story I was telling you about, a brother of a friend, studies in a Bengali medium. Doesn't understand a word of English. Has trouble answering his college master's papers in Bengali because the questions in Bengali are that tough of a Bengali for him, who has studied his entire life in a Bengali medium school. So you see, the poverty of West Bengal is not going away anytime soon, even if Thomas Sowell becomes the chief minister of West Bengal, because we have an insanely, absolutely dumb, unemployable population waiting right around the corner, right in their core employable age, who don't know anything about anything in any language.
No, honestly, I have heard of certain countries like Singapore, China, Hong Kong, certain places. I've heard that the school system is very difficult. Like बैठोगे exam में सब pass हो जाएगा. It's not like that. You have to develop your language and maths and all that. I think that's why those countries are gonna take the lead in terms of skilled jobs.
Man. Yeah.
Because unless you make school difficult for people, then you can't have people, dealing with complex ideas when they're young. Okay, they must deal with complex ideas. वो खत्म हो गया. I'll just, because we are in this like kind of we're not dealing with any particular topic. You guys must bongs, non-bongs. I don't know where you will get this, but there is a character called Ghonada. Okay.
Right.
Now, Ghonada was awesome because Ghonada spoke about international conspiracies regarding oil and pharma and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Tenida was funny, and this stuff was like basic stuff. Okay, like Ghonada and stuff you must read anyway because that guy lies about everything. But the lies are awesome. Like he's an international spy somewhere, and the level of the lies are like उससे जेम्स बॉन्ड का 5 स्क्रिप्ट निकल जाएगा. Okay. And that's the thing, like this was the level of average popular literature in the 1970s.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what curious thing happened in the 1970s, that there was a collective reduction in IQ among Bengalis. This is the great mystery, because of which, you know.
Okay, and M. Shastri thinks we are also those same dumb Bengalis. So he's saying that by simplify the process, I mean dumb it down. He's dumbing it down to explain that he's talking about dumbing things down. So remember, 2 days back, I posted something, sort of a film student who said that the Bengalis are still stuck in the 1950s, and then another leftist girl corrects him and says that no, actually the 1950s were better, and then he says yes, Bengal went to hell after the 80s. Okay, bro, leftist homie, what the fuck happened in the 80s? what mysterious thing happened in the 80s?
My God, nobody knows.
Yeah.
Money Heist is actually, I think Titash is asking about Money Heist. Money Heist is one of those series, you know, like Game of Thrones. I didn't even watch that one. It's so like average. I don't know. I'm recently rewatching Silicon Valley, which was pretty good actually.
Okay. Anyway, so my point is that since there is such a gigantic, I mean, the knowledge production is so horrifying in Bengal. Do you realize that the kids who do end up gaining some knowledge about these things, about a lot of things, and are able in more than one language, etc., or are at least very good in at least one language, which nobody seems to be in the majority of the Bengali population today in West Bengal? Again, the insane amount of economic divide that's going to be created because of this. Okay, and again, commies are going to get an excuse to say, see, rising income inequality. So which happened because of their actions 30 years back, and now it's going to happen again in the next 30 years. Because how is a Bengali medium guy whose education is probably more worthless than a tick on the back of a stray dog, how is that guy who doesn't even know Bengali and English, how is he going to compete with someone who knows English, Bengali, Hindi, and watches so much great content and stuff and has read these books? In what fucking world are these two guys even the same species? So he's not even going to be that guy's secretary probably. You can't go, do everything with just hard work and dedication and listening to annotated videos in the morning. Like some Jaideep Ahlawat or something, who played Manoj Bajpayee's father in Gangs of Wasseypur. He was saying in an acting workshop, I saw a reel that whenever newcomers, struggling actors come to me for acting advice, I say that what are some of the books you have read recently? And all of these fuckers tell me, I've read 50 rules for success, 20 rules for success, 30 rules for becoming a great actor. And I tell those idiots that you are supposed to read stories, great plays, read some Premchand, learn about different characters, think of them, conceptualize them, internalize them, and then maybe practice with them. What the fuck are you reading? Okay, so how are they going to compete with each other? Okay, these two kinds of people. Okay, so you see, Bengal is so destroyed. And the other thing I wanted,
no, I just wanted you to there's a brilliant Spanish movie. In case you can share your screen, it's called Incautos, Incautos for you guys. Anyway, let's move on.
So I wanted you to answer Niner's question here.
Is Bhadralok coming towards Hindutva? And Bhadralok is almost there, to be honest. I know Neerajan may not be that optimistic, but honestly, as somebody who's been following this trend for the last 20 years or so, I can with certain a degree of certainty say that Bhadraloks are more educated about Hindutva at this point than they ever were in the last 50 years. Like, they are watching series and podcasts and many videos or by certain BJP, like pro BJP channels and stuff. Like, basic red pilling ho gaya hai in a massive way. Why it does not reflect electorally is because the female voter base is still not that educated in Bengal. That has been my understanding. I'm sorry to say, but like they're still voting TMC in many ways. But their husbands and maybe boyfriends and brothers and fathers, they have been red pilled pretty badly. I went to a bookstore in Calcutta a few days back, and four very young guys were discussing Andrew Tate. Okay, but I'm not saying Andrew Tate is equal to like Hindutva, but my point is that
He's a
Andrew
counterculture
Tate,
to the leftist mainstream, at
but
least.
yeah, nonetheless, they are not taking this thing. Yeah, they're talking about Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate, all that. Like these are like very young kids, and I was just reading a book beside them, and I got shocked. I was like,
Yeah.
Bengali young kids talking about Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate. There must be something wrong.
Yeah.
And then I realized, no, that means red pilling is going on. Like it's all around. But at the same time, women are not being red pilled at that rate. Although I would say among educated, maybe middle class women, there has been a change, especially after Bangladesh and a few other incidents in the recent past. There have been more, there have been incremental changes, I would say. Maybe a 1%, 2% thing.
I would say there are two main game changers. What Mr. Sociologist is saying here is actually true, but you see, one is Arjikor, of course, with which they have sort of for the first time realized that rapes happen in West Bengal for some reason. But they have actually woken up and kind of given up on Trinamool, and they have thought that, okay, our main goal was that we are going to prevent the Hindu fascists at any fucking cost. But the cost can't be this. Okay, because I know people, I know my friends who have been lifelong leftists from CPM families who voted for Trinamool in 2021 because they had to prevent Hindu fascists from coming to power, are today having brutal fights. I mean, not hand-to-hand fights, at least debates and loud voices and stuff are being used in their discussions with their Trinamool supporting friends because they are pissed off. They are back to supporting CPIM at least, and so a lot of people are moving away. But the other thing that has actually shifted a lot of views are the Durga Murti destructions that have happened during this time around. Okay, and the way the red pilling has happened, because which has culminated because of this, was actually achieved by the kids on social media, and even the 30s, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, everyone on social media, the Hindutvatis on social media, who pushed them for at least 4 or 5 years on every fucking topic. Okay, where is your secularism? Where is your liberalism now, etc.? They were pushed and pushed and pushed to the brink when they can't now defend. Durga Murti is getting destructed. Okay, I have come across example after example after example where either hardcore leftists, casual leftists, urban bhadraloks are going on saying that this is something we can't accept because, you see, we are true seculars. We of course hate Hindutvatis because they are not secular, but we are at least secular, right? Because they of course don't know the history of secularism in India. They don't know all the things we know. But now when faced with direct hard evidence in front of their eyes in their own city, they are towing the line and they are admitting that yes, we can't accept this at least. Okay, so that is definitely a change.
I think there's a young guy here in the comment section, Srijan. Yeah.
What is he saying?
My one thing would be, my one solution for you would be, I guess we read a bunch of books and papers on this channel, and I think if you read even like half of them, you have arguments on your side, right?
Yeah, Srijan, always give them leftist sources.
Yeah. That's the whole reason why we started this channel as well. Like we started doing what we're doing right now. Like you have like sources that they cannot ever say no to. Okay, they can't say, like Irfan Habib on Cast. Like how can you say no? So something like that. How do you identify a reluctant commie supporter looking to jump ship? Talk about Bangladesh. I think their reactions nowadays, like what Neerajan said, like their reactions nowadays will slowly betray their, facade. And there's another very interesting thing. The narrative, the base of the narrative has changed. So I was looking at a meme where they're showing Jay Shah cracking a deal with an Arab guy, They said their children and your children. So the guy who took off the flag allegedly and got killed in Uttar Pradesh. So now their narrative is not that that guy is wrong. Like Gopal, the guy who died in Uttar Pradesh recently, they're not vilifying him anymore. They're not saying he was evil, he was a fascist, he was a crazy person. No, that used to be the old thing. Now their thing is, why isn't Amit Shah and Rajnath Singh's son going up a mosque and burning it or whatever?
Yeah.
That is that. So the thing is that the baseline has changed heavily.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
Very important point actually. Please remember your point, whatever you're going to say, okay?
Yeah.
Because I need to harp on this a little. The baseline expectations, the baseline discourse and Overton window has shifted, because up until, let's say, 10 years back, if people did get to know about Bangladesh and stuff, and there was not this social media army of Hindutvadis, and there was no Sanjeev Sanyal, Desai Deepak, etc., I guarantee you, Bengali Bhadraloks would have said that if it's happening in Bangladesh, that's not our problem. It's the problem. It's a different country. The seculars and the liberals of that country will handle it. How do I know it? Because I was one of those people who used to say this whenever anyone brought up Bangladesh in front of me. And if you were told about the stuff that's happening in Bahrain or Kolkata's Durgamurti destructions, they would say the same things, that why were they provoking him? Because remember, they said these things up until 2-3 years back as well. So now at least it's gone into their heads that we expect out of them at least proper secularism, that you do criticize when bad things happen to Hindus, because up until few years back, up until 5 years back, it was acceptable that yes, bad things can happen to Hindus and it's not a problem, because they are the majority who apparently lacks the unity, and therefore they are not really a religion to unite a country. They are divided among castes, etc. But they are a very evil united majority, by the way. That baseline has been destroyed. The baseline today is that yes, Hindutvadis need to be prevented, but we are also true seculars. That is a significant change.
No, the other factor here is that earlier, so here's why the Pasmanda thing being raised by government of India is interesting for me.
Masterstroke. It was masterstroke.
It is a good strategy. They just mess it up as usual, like typical BJP. So the point is, instead of bargaining for reservations and this and that, they should deploy a lot of people like Fayaz Ahmed Faizi and other people all over the country to talk about the plight of Pasmandas repeatedly and bring them to academic seminars and English and Hindi podcasts, Bengali podcasts, all that stuff. Then you can at least like unme ghusa do ki yaar unme bhi caste hai. Okay, Hinduism is not the only religion or only ideology with caste. In fact, Hinduism has nothing to do with caste, like I keep saying. So aise karke we have to, but nonetheless baseline is changing. Baseline बहुत अलग हो गया अभी. And again, I hope people like Vivek Agnihotri are deployed more, because the thing is, Kashmir Files and Kerala Story also have something to do with this. I think the reason Kashmir Files was a sleeper hit, like the way it became a hit despite it not getting shows at all, to getting like almost 350 or 400 crores, I think. It was a brilliant strategy by the word of mouth thing. I don't think even Vivek Agnihotri expected it to be a hit. I think ऐसे 10-20 करोड़ उठा लेंगे ठीक है. But ये जो sleeper hit है ना, it shocked people into waking up in many ways.
Yeah,
that's
I have a disagreement about Vivek Agnihotri, that yes, I do like Kashmir Files, and even as a movie, for some reason people keep hating it as a movie, as a production wise, but I do
it's a decent movie, yeah,
as a sort of a very Nordic kind of a minimalistic genre that there actually exists in movie making, which I really like, and that was the very specific genre that was applied by Vivek Agnihotri. Okay, it was not a bad production. It's not like he is a bad director, therefore he could not make it as interesting as RRR or Kantara. No, it's actually a very distinct genre that he approached.
Yeah.
I do like that genre, but since he is not the subtle messaging guy, he will never make a super hit movie ever again, unless it's just Hindutvadis watching it. Which I don't think is happening anytime soon. But I want to point out something that AA is saying here, that the Pasmanda thing isn't working, and which is why I think I wanted to say, when you were talking about Pasmandas, that it was actually a masterstroke, that I actually hugely disagree with AA here. See, if you thought Pasmandas are going to become Hindutvatis all of a sudden and are going to do mass ghar wapsi, then of course I have nothing to say to you. And I don't think Narendra Modi ever had such expectations. Frankly, I didn't have such expectations. The thing with Pasmandas is that they are the core foot soldiers of the riots on streets. They are the core stone pelters, right? And they are the ones who are sitting at home when, let's say, laws after laws are going on passing, which would be seemingly touted as anti-Muslim by the far left. Okay, ये जो मतलब वकफ एक्ट का जो ऑलमोस्ट पास हो चुका है, ये जो सिचुएशन है where we are in right now, that it's almost passed and there's not one fucking riot in the entire country, it's because of absolutely Modi ji's master stroke of outreaching Pasmandas bhai. It's absolutely because of that. So it's also the genius achievement of people like Dr. Faiz Ahmed Faizi. Okay, they have convinced them. Every Pasmanda organization has supported one pro Indian Hindutvadi position after the other, or has not created problems against one Hindutvadi position after the other. They have repeatedly shown that yes, it's working, and Faiz Ahmed Faizi is actually giving results, guys. You can't expect more than this at the moment. A is saying no. I mean, Pasmanda isn't gonna convince Bhadrlok. I don't see why, guys. Why A? Because they are all entrenched in the Dalit discourse, right? The day some Muslim Dalit stands up and starts talking about Ashraf oppression, it's done.
No, and there's another. See, Bhadralooks. We have a weapon for the Bhadralooks. Okay, and this channel has been doing it from the very beginning. And that's by showing the Bhadralooks the mirror in many more than one way. And
Bengal has the most fertile ground for anti-casteism discourse because we don't have to be doing caste politics, and we don't even have to criticize Manusmriti, because we are going to be going around showing that people who have never heard of Manusmriti are absolutely casteist. It's going to be an absolute fun time.
And we have the second highest scheduled caste population in the country.
And the most highest amounts of lower caste deaths in every fucking political violence incidents. It's either lower caste Muslims or lower caste Hindus who get killed in political riots. But anyway, Nandish was saying, yes, he points out that I told someone in the comment section that I would talk about Bhojpuri film industry. Someone had just asked me that what do I think of Bhojpuri films? Have I watched any of them? No, I have not ever watched a Bhojpuri film, because I think they are about 50 years behind in intelligence and subtlety than even the Bengali film industry, of which I watch about one movie every 2-3 years. But why do I not hate the Bhojpuri film industry as much as I hate the Bengali industry? Because the Bhojpuri industry was never good to begin with. When the fuck did Bhojpuri industry ever create Satyajit Ray? The moment I think the Muslim invasions happened, their intelligence, economy, everything went to hell, and then never again picked up. Okay, the last time they were at some great point in their lifestyle and I mean anything good that happened in the Bihar region was during the Chanakyan Empire, probably, and then repeated. The rivers of Bihar keep changing paths so many times, and it's not connected to any sea, so they have a tough lifetime anyway. But after Muslim invasions, even they did create some good classical music, but it's been just up till that. Some, I think, great poets have come out of Bihar, but other than IAS officers, they have not created anything significant. Movies to chodi do. But why I hate the Tollywood industry is because they are inheriting an industry which was run by giants in every field. And from there, they have started making movies which are easily comparable to Bhojpuri movies today. So that's where I am.
Do you know who translated Kabir's Bhojpuri poems in English?
No.
Sant Kabir's. Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore translated Bhojpuri poems in English, and that's why Kabir also became popular. Bhojpuri and I think he used to write in Maithili or something. I don't remember. Yeah. But Bhojpuri...
Gahana Kusuma Kunja Maj.
Yeah. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Rabindranath Tagore translated a lot of Bhojpuri poems as well. Yeah. So back then, somebody like Rabindranath Tagore was not so casteist, let's say. Hey,
Yeah.
what would Bangla Pokho say, man, if Rabindranath Tagore was translating Bhojpuri poems?
Now, Bangla Pakko's argument is that they are capitalists who are also pro Bengali. So I guess they would say this is just a free enterprise. This is a libertarian perspective. So Tagore can do whatever the fuck he wants. Now,
Anyway.
M. Shastri is asking, by the way, I heard that Indian M movement is gathering momentum in India. What do you guys see? I don't see much of that, but what do you see, Mr. Sociologist?
I don't want to comment on it. Anyway.
Okay.
My one understanding is that, like, from a few channels that are they're very popular, powerful, like powerful
Hmm.
name, matlab very popular channels like David Wood and all. These guys are not the best allies to have. That I agree with RS
Okay.
in the comment section.
Okay. Rupa Shah is saying of the language, not Bhojpuri, I guess.
Acha,
Are you sure,
I
Mr.
as far
Sociologist?
as I know, Bhojpuri hai.
Okay.
As far as I know,
Okay.
we
Avdi
can
is
check
the
it out.
language that Hanuman Chalisa is in. Okay, that's the Avdi language.
Yeah.
Moinak Bhattacharya is pointing out that even during the Gupta Empire, the capital was Patliputra before it was moved to Ujjain. Abir Zain is asking also, Dada, how is Rabindranath a pro-nationalist, more loved by the general left and defended? I don't exactly get your question. Are you saying that even though he's a nationalist, why is he loved? Oh, well, because he wrote a book called Nationalism, where he criticized nationalism, I think, and which was where he was talking about European nationalism, and he points it out explicitly. But leftists thought he's such a good man who criticized Indian nationalism that therefore they like Rabindranath. No one gets. Yeah,
No, yeah.
Bharat.
If you guys read Bengal Divided, people
Hmm.
like Joya Chatterjee and all make it look like Rabindranath Tagore hated Hindu nationalists. Okay, like Gora and a few other things. They were like, "Are Rabindranath Tagore?" And honestly, Ghore Bairete, he kind of does show, I think, Shondip in a very negative light, which was basically Shondip was a nationalist.
Hmm.
But very interestingly, see, Tagore ne to ye, when you take Tagore into perspective, you must see that, which is why it's also important to watch Satyajit Ray's adaptation of Ghore Baire, where Nikhilesh says openly that ये बुरखा वाला कल्चर, मुंह ढकने वाला कल्चर, औरतों को घर भेजने वाला कल्चर, ये इस्लामिक इन्वेशंस के बाद ही आया था. Anyway, Satyajit Ray saying that in Ghore Baire.
What the
And
fuck?
you must watch Ghore Baire. Anyway, so what happens in this thing, Ghore Baire, is where the villain, the so-called the villain guy, he's a nationalist. Okay, but the ideology of nationalism is not the villain. That's the place where the leftists
Oh.
deliberately obscured it. He
Hmm.
was a very flamboyant, like a very like a slick character, like he was kind
Okay.
of like, he was like Kanhaiya Kumar, let's say. Okay,
Okay.
like पॉपुलर हो गया, फिर चेंजेस, जो पूंजीवादी के खिलाफ था वो कांग्रेस के पास चला गया फॉर पावर एंड मनी एंड ऑल दैट. सो
Yeah.
वही बोल रहा एग्जैक्टली, लाइक योर ये जो द पीपल हु काइंड ऑफ जंप अप सडनली, दे आर प्रॉब्लमेटिक. ओके, और
Hmm.
ये तो यू कैन डेफिनेटली से फॉर सोशल जस्टिस वॉरियर्स.
Hmm.
Tagore was in that movie. Nikhilesh was actually more of a like a liberal conservative, like a center
Yeah.
right guy, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
And this guy was extreme right, या जो भी बोलो, ये extreme left भी
Yeah.
हो सकता है. Like
Yeah.
this, he never said कि this cannot be reinterpreted or anything. He just said that he just showed some of these weird flamboyant characters. They don't trust them. So इसमें तो एकदम सारे social justice warrior उसमें ही पड़ जाएंगे ना.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Winnie the Pooh, I didn't say it was Bhojpuri, okay? Oh, bada Trinamool supporter de nahi jhamela. So, Ninar, he did not really dislike nationalists, okay? His criticism of nationalism was entirely for just European nationalism, which was right-wing racism and stuff, okay? He
No,
was never
he
a
did criticize
criticism.
this thing, Japanese nationalism, but not Hindu
Yeah.
or Indian nationalism per se. Japanese nationalism,
Yeah.
वो भी क्यों? Because the Japanese were, pretty. They were doing stuff that wasn't very good, basically.
Oh, yeah.
At that time.
Yeah, for which Abhijit Iyer Mitra hates Netaji, of course. Do you know? Abhijit Iyer Mitra
Netaji
said that.
hating is also pretty common among the extreme left nowadays, because क्या
Yeah.
है, Netaji is a weird, like, देखो, नेताजी को फेंक भी नहीं सकता क्योंकि you need the Bengali votes, Bengali sentiment वगैरह वो सब है.
Yeah.
and because Modi जब से उनका स्टैचू लगा दिया है, ये सब कर रहा है, then
संघी
after that
नेताजी हो गया.
I saw a bunch of extreme leftists that whose career you have highlighted on your community tab and all that. Such people who get foreign awards, they have stuck to reminding people that Netaji did once collaborate with Hitler. Okay. Now they will conveniently forget that Stalin and Hitler were best friends till 1941, and वो सब तो भूल ही जाएंगे वो
Yeah.
लोग.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing. Like the left is now, it's always been in a state of confusion. वैसे even they weren't really against Hitler till 1941. The CPM in India. Only after 1941, when the non-aggression pact was violated by Hitler and he attacked Russia, that they were like, oh my God, हमारा काका जी क्या कर लिया, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So
before that, he was not a villain anywhere.
He was not a villain per se for the left in India, at least.
Yeah, we are going into demonetization territory now. So the main problem that the left has today with Netaji, the uncomfortable situation that they are in, is that the right has appropriated and owned Netaji to such an extent, which is why the small, let's say, curious, open-minded, critical thinking right-wing section of the right-wing, which is today saying that Netaji was an ultra-communist and would have been bad for India if he came to power. Please keep quiet. please don't bring it up too much, because we have appropriated Netaji so much. That's why they hate him. Okay, which is our project. What we are going to do with Irfan Habib, Max Weber, हमारे Ambedkar, etc. Okay, take away their idols. जो आइडल खुद के ऑलरेडी है उनको मत भेज दो उनके पास. इंस्टेड टेक अवे देयर आइडल्स, टेक अवे देयर रैलिंग पॉइंट्स. ठीक है, तुम्हारा क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग बंद दरवाजे के पीछे करो भाई, कुछ एटलीस्ट कुछ डेकेड्स के लिए. So the other thing I wanted to point out is that yes, even if Joya Chatterjee goes on blaming Hindus for every problem in the world, you see, that was just one side of the research that the leftists conveniently, because they are not crazy anti-intellectuals, highlighted. Okay, they just didn't highlight the other scholars that you people like you keep bringing up. Okay, that's the genius. So you don't have to hate the academy actually. And I'm of course going 180-degree opposite of what I used to say 2 years back from this channel itself. So there is great research and questionable research on all sides. Okay, it's all a question of which side you are going to highlight. Someone or the other has to highlight something or the other. So the highlight is not being done. So today, why isn't Joy Chatterjee being countered with Irfan Habib or Dayabati Roy? Who's Dayabati Roy is saying the casteism in West Bengal has nothing to do with Dharmashastras. Irfan Habib is saying it has nothing to do with Brahmins. Brahmins did not have the evil centered deep state power. Declan Quigley is saying it. Max Weber is saying it. And Nicholas Dirk, Nicholas Dirk, I think should get more credentials in front of leftists, because his wife has written a book against Savarkar because she's a Gandhiwadi, and of course failed in making us hate Savarkar as well. That's a different matter. But yeah, I have still not found anything convincing.
That's the thing, right? We have a diamond in the rough in Janki Bakre. Like, even where credible academic with like all kinds of academic publications and support by leftist academia cannot माफी वीर नहीं बोल सकते, उसको ब्रिटिश एजेंट नहीं बोल सकते, क्या बोलेंगे फिर? मतलब why should we hate the guy because he had some very problematic ideas? उस हिसाब से तो anyway we've done this quite a bit.
The problematic thing that actually has convinced me is that in some situations Savarkar wrote some fictional story and then use those fictional stories as a content for his play, as if it actually happened in real life, whereas similar things were happening in society anyways, but he brings up the incident in his stories. Okay, that's kind of a shady thing that Savarkar did. So far in the book, that's the only thing she has pointed out.
I think can you highlight Boishali Kanjilal's comment? She has a very important point.
Guys, in Ghade Baire, Swandipan the villain was a Gandhian Swadeshi left-style nationalism. Nikhilesh was a propagandist, pragmatist, national lover, liberal, conservationist, conservative.
Yes.
Okay.
And precisely the point I was making, but in more detail. Yeah, he was like Gandhi ji ne ye bola kar lo aisa type ka. But yeah, I mean, no, the problem is not that Netaji has problems. Like every koi bhi leader ka le lo, nobody was perfect and stuff. The point I'm trying to make is, जब से मोदी जी ने अम्बेडकर और नेताजी का नाम लेना शुरू किया है ना, तब से the left has been slowly, inch, centimeter by centimeter trying to disavow them, basically.
Hmm.
Because, and
Yeah.
I'm seeing it like in some seminars I even heard that some people were saying Ambedkar is an Islamophobe and all that. I've heard. So
There
ये
is
शुरू हुआ इनका.
there is a website which only talks about Muslim scholars, Muslim history and stuff. It's a very Islam oriented Indian is Islam, I guess Islamicate oriented website. Okay, so everyone is employed there, of course. So I came across that website when I was doing my research for reviewing or talking about the Brahmastra trailer. Okay, when I think it was before the trailer released, when it first came out that Brahmastra is going to be based on Rumi's work, or it was going to be based on Rumi's work. Then they decided to give it a sort of a Hindu hue at least. So then in my research of Rumi, I came across different Muslim websites. So there I had found a great article where they had pointed out that how bad Syed Ahmed Barelvi, etc., were, etc. But in that website, I found an article written by a Bengali from one of the three Bhadralok castes, upper castes. So he said that was actually the headline, that Rabindranath was an Islamophobe, and it's time we reject him. And that's an article
Yeah,
written about 4 or 5 years back from
yeah.
today. So it's going to happen very soon.
नहीं, पापा जी, इन लोगों का जो पापा जी थे सब one after the other they will start disowning the guys. It's
Wait,
just a matter.
Baishali Kanjilal. Yes, that's the article I'm talking about. Yes, it's Sabrang. Exactly.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
what a coincidence. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So yes, there Islamophobia is going to come out. Now we
No,
have half an
RS
hour.
worshipping false gods, I think he went a bit over the top, in my opinion. Uh,
Okay.
I think, see, Arun Shori का थोड़ा frustrated type का भी वो है. I don't personally, I don't love everything that Ambedkar said and did, but all I'm saying is worshipping false gods are the kind of books they use to break our unity. मतलब दलितों को वो दिखाएंगे कि देखो आरएसएस का दल्ला लोग क्या लिख रहा है, worshipping false god बोल रहा है, अंबेडकर को false god बोल रहा है. I am saying that is not the way out. You cannot disown a god who has been accepted by so many people. वही है.
Yeah.
तो
Yeah,
हाँ,
Abirzen. Only
and
half an hour
I
is left.
just
We are not
wanted
going
to
to be Yeah, we are not going to be able to be doing that today. It's going to be we are going to do that in a different live stream. We are going to share all our support stories about why we left the left. So today, let's just continue with this topic only. So, RS, the thing with false gods is that now some people do hope and are waiting for some sort of implosion of academia, or the implosion of the value of academia. If that does happen, then of course everything we are saying from this channel, Mr. Sociologist, his career, his findings, everything is useless and pointless. uh, but if that doesn't happen, then this book is absolutely worthless. But Mr. Sociologist, do you have any, let's say, hunch that there might come a point in the recent future, in the near future, because of the different ways of the economics that's happening in the world, the general push against leftists and academia in general? Okay, do you see a situation arising where institutionalized academia itself either disappears or loses its value in a world, and it creates a world where these books, J.S.I. Deepak, Sanjeev Sanyal's books, and Arun Shori's books get more credibility than Ambedkar? Can that really happen?
नहीं, देखो, अंबेडकर से ज्यादा क्रेडिबिलिटी की बात नहीं है. What I'm trying to say is, if you're talking about the kind of crap that they read in, we have read in universities, right, and schools and colleges, right? Whether that is more important or what you see on the internet is more important. I think that is your real, like, will there be a decentering of academic privilege? I think it has already happened in some ways, and it will continue to happen because you have a lot more credible people doing it now. Now, internet tha, like you could maybe access 10 books on your own. But what has happened is more educated people like Anand Ranganathan and others, like maybe Vivek Ramaswamy in America, Anand Ranganathan here, JSD, other people, okay, even let's say our channel in a little way, we are making arguments that are reaching a wider audience in a weird way. Okay, and we are shattering certain myths. So एक ये होता है ना कि you're taught something and you know that something is wrong with what I'm being taught, and then somebody actually comes and tells you, and that person has credibility, and more educated people are talking that way, then that happens. That but wo base point I would say is very important, that ek wo you need some educated people to lead the charge.
But Arun Shori was educated.
Arun Shori was educated, but and Anand is saying in the comments that you have to acknowledge, you have to say the truth all the time.
Yeah.
My point is slightly different. I am on Yogi ji's side. Batenge to katenge abhi. If we you might know some secrets about your younger brother in the house, and if you say it in front of your parents, everyone will have a fight. You'll hate each other forever. He might leave the house. Sometimes it's not necessary. If number one, number two is already Ambedkar ko jo false god ho, real god ho, jo bhi hai, if he is worshipped by a large section of society thanks to power play, politics, whatever, leftist academia jo bhi ho, all we need to do is show the other side. Your work is done. You don't need to work very hard to convince those people. When you make people read Pakistan or the partition, they really don't have anything. Some guy once, so when I started quoting from Pakistan or the partition media, one guy said, so Ambedkar said a lot of stuff about Hinduism. I said, just to win the argument, I said, I agree with him on Hinduism. But you have to agree with him on Islam as well. So that's the thing. So
right.
Sometimes, it's important to win a war or win a battle, in the public eye, using the weapons that are allowed. Like ऐसे you can quote Sitaram Goel all you want. The reality is Sitaram Goel bologe bas khatam. Nobody
नाम ही तो नहीं सुना है.
90% people won't know. Then they say some obscure person somewhere, and then they'll think, okay, ye kaun hai? Oh, BJP ka aadmi hai, bas khatam.
RSS ka dalla.
You need RSS ka dalla. You need somebody like Max Weber. You need somebody like we go on saying Quigley and all this. It is a way to start the conversation. Then you can push that person more towards.
It's a gateway drug.
But you need to make them take the hit, the first hit, right?
Yeah.
So jo bhi ho,
now
that is the important thing, right?
But there is actually a nice way that Anand Sridhar has pointed this out. See, he's saying that you can study and like parts of Ambedkar, but to elevate him to such levels is ridiculous. But you see, the parts of Ambedkar that we like to study and tell people about, the amount of research and articulation that he put into those parts of his study, okay, they were absolutely brilliant and better than anything anyone else did. Okay, maybe only Sitaram Goel came close, but Sitaram Goel, I would say Sitaram Goel's criticism and Ambedkar's criticism are at par basically, but which is the highest. Okay, so when I say that Ambedkar was brilliant in his observations, I have to be truthful. This is the truth, that he was brilliant in his observations in those parts. Okay. Now, the second part of your question is actually more interesting, that should we then tone down our appreciation of Ambedkar because he was, after all, harshly critical and maybe wrong about Hinduism? I have not read his stuff on Hinduism because it's irrelevant to my goal here. But you see, everything can't be done by everyone, right? So, overall, in general, people can end up having a view that, yes, he did say interesting things about that our bhais, and said harsh things about our side, but in general he was just a great scholar who need not be elevated that highly. That can be a general collective view, but when I as a person who is debating a commie or is talking to a commie, I have to be highly appreciative of Ambedkar, because I'm talking to a guy who is highly appreciative of Ambedkar but knows only one side, and I'm going to be telling him about the other side of Ambedkar, for which again I do think of Ambedkar very highly. So I can't get into that game of doing a balanced approach and stuff, because the moment I take a balanced approach with Ambedkar, with him, with that commie, he's going to think I'm a casteist. Because why others? What other reason would I hate Ambedkar's criticism of Hinduism? Because he just hates casteism. So if I hate that, do I hate? Anti-casteist activists. So I can't even touch that game with a 10 foot
No,
pole, 10 feet pole.
and honestly, see, if Ambedkar hated Hinduism so much, he wouldn't have called somebody like Swami Shraddhanand the greatest champion of Dalits in India. Okay, who is Swami Shraddhanand? He is one of the founding members of Hindu Mahasabha. Okay, so you can't really, the dude had a PhD from Columbia. He was like writing awesome stuff quite a bit, like a century ago. He did have a lot of shades to his ideas. Okay, and if you read what Congress and this thing Congress has done for the Dalits, aisa koi book hai, I keep forgetting that book. He bashes Congress. Now his frustration with Hindus was also this, Dalits and especially was also this, that यार तुम लोग ऐसे पार्टी को क्यों वोट डाल रहे हो जो एकदम कास्टिस्ट बेकार पार्टी है, जैसे कांग्रेस. And that is true. Congress is casteist. Like, look at the Haryana politics. They just played Jat politics and they got screwed. Right? Hindutva has, in that sense, Hindutva has always been a more left of center position compared to Congress socially. In terms of that.
Yes.
Congress has always supported Ashraf and dominant caste politics forever. Still does.
Yeah. Because they actually destroy the dominant caste politics of every place they go. They actually believe in asceticism. They actually hate the academia. They actually hate the elites, for which they get screwed more than often.
You're talking about
CPI and Congress never do.
Yeah. Congress ulta karta hai.
Yeah.
Congress is all about elitism. Congress is
and
one
CPI.
of the elitist parties in the history of this country. Abhi dekho, logon ko elitism chahiye, wo alag baat hai. CPM is also a very elitist party. Now people, that aside, like, we have criticized BJP for being very stupid in many ways, right? But ye bhi to hai ki Congress and left are the most pura dominant caste vanguard, pura ekdam Ashraf vanguard hai pura.
Yes.
Right? Patriarchy ka vanguard hai. I mean, BJP is honestly more liberal on all these positions than these Congress and left ever were. And wo bhi hai ki that's why I keep saying that Hindutva is essentially a social justice movement. It is a movement against this kind of elitism. It is a more, or BJP took itself too seriously. That's why it got screwed. That's a different issue.
Now, what about Ninar's comment that is there something from Marx that we can actually use as to paint him as RSS ka dalla as well? Can that be possible?
Honestly, Marx had a diary on India. He had notes on India that is available online. Okay, there are some interesting insights. Like, he called Titumir, who is a big, like, popular guy among the Bengali left as the great anti-colonialist. Now Titumir ko Marx ne bola ki ye pura matlab chutiya aadmi hai, ye this guy was a jihadi. Okay, ऐसे random बोल दिया. हाँ, and वो Mughal starters, he said that बोला कि भाई ये लोग तो एकदम मतलब घटिया बारबेरियंस है, इंडिया में आके इनको थोड़ा कल्चर वल्चर मिलेगा. He was like that. So Marx also subscribed to a kind of view that Indian culture बहुत अच्छा है. हाँ, ये अलग चुतियापा है कास्ट फास्ट का, वो अलग बात है. And Marx said that भाई कैपिटलिज्म आ जाएगा तो कास्ट खत्म हो जाएगा. In 1853 Marx had these two articles in, if I am not mistaken, the London Times or something. You can just Google 1853. Marx had two articles. One on the coming transformation of India and something else. Us dono mein, it's available online easily, like Marxist.org. India and Marx. वहाँ पे Marx basically says भाई रेलवे हो जाएगा तो कास्ट खत्म. हाँ, कैपिटलिज्म आ जाएगा तो कास्ट खत्म. कास्ट है क्योंकि मतलब वो गाँव वाव है इसलिए कास्ट है बस.
So now Anand has pointed out something brilliant here, that the way he's proposing we talk about Ambedkar, in that way a Dalit will stop being just a Dalit and go about his life as a normal human being as well, not just as a Dalit whose ancestors are oppressed or is today oppressed in the villages of India. So you see, this Anand is not in your hands or my hands. because this all has everything to do with capitalism, low taxes, investment, etc., which I'm in favor of absolutely. The other everything else that happens, the damage that happens in the hands of academia, we are countering that. But
No,
Mr.
no,
Sociologist,
2 points here. 2 points here.
hmm,
One thing is that एक तो ये है कि the reason people identify as Dalit or backwards or
it's
whatever,
incentivized by
like
the state.
ब्राह्मण होते थे because the state incentivizes. The state is saying भाई तुम
Yes.
जितना खुद को डाउनवर्ड बैकवर्ड बोलोगे तुमको उतना पैसा मिलेगा, उतना जॉब मिलेगा. So go ahead and do it. So these people are just being clever. It's not. ये अलग बात है कि we did not foresee the see, even Ambedkar didn't want 50% reservation. Ambedkar wanted around 27% of reservation, if I'm not wrong. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, he never wanted beyond 10 years. Okay. So ये बात अलग है. So blaming it all on Ambedkar is also not the issue here. My point is different. My point is कि अलग ही बात है कि स्टेट जब तक है, some people, वो पीसफुल हो, पत्थरबाज हो, जो भी हो, स्टेट कुछ कुछ लोगों को वोट के लिए all time they will, जैसे अभी you will notice that in the US there's a lot of talk about Latino voters. Okay. अभी Latino होने में फायदा है भाई. If you identify as Latino, let's say Neerajan goes to the US and says that मेरा skin color देख लो, थोड़ा Spanish सीख लिया, खुद को Latino बोल के identify कर देगा, he will easily get like PhD benefits from the government, scholarship, पैसा वैसा सब मिल जाएगा उसको. वो रिपब्लिकन भी उसको चाहेगा, डेमोक्रेट भी चाहेगा, क्योंकि अभी the population, the growth rate of Latinos is higher. So America में everyone is after the Latino vote. Okay. And I'm telling you,
now,
maybe 10 years later, Latino Republican will be Latino party, because जो Cuban Latinos have the conservatives, they will take over.
Yeah,
eventually.
they are absolutely conservative. The Cubans.
Conservatism होगा नहीं, मतलब वो शहर के white से नहीं होगा.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So this will be the last point for today. AA is pointing out that Haryana mein BJP won because they gave 20% reservation to scheduled castes in government jobs, not because of Hindutva. It's factually correct, but I have a hunch that there are other things at play as well. And by doing that as well, I think BJP tried to play some anti-caste politics. I'm not sure exactly because I wasn't following any politics when this was happening. What's your opinion on this?
I am hearing this for the first time, honestly. I don't know about the government jobs to this thing. My point is this, that even if BJP does this now, the problem is that this is an arms race. Reservation is an arms race now. Like jo jitna bolega karega. But my point is, Congress, I have never seen Congress shying away from promising this stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
मतलब Rahul Gandhi is one step short of declaring कि मैं भी दलित हूँ, चलो हम कुछ करते हैं.
Yeah.
Now my point is this, that it doesn't matter. Somewhere I have seen Hindutva, because I also believe that Bangladesh might have an effect on Indian elections. You may not agree with me entirely. I'm not saying it is the sole factor, but जहाँ पे 1% के लिए there's a two-party election, and there's like a 49 तो नहीं होता है, let's say 40 and 39% vote share can determine the winner of an election. वहाँ पे even an issue like Bangladesh में हिंदुओं के ऊपर अत्याचार does benefit the BJP. Okay. And it is interesting because there were always atrocities in Bangladesh. That is not new. But I think
now
that coming to the forefront, that is new. And these things will work. These things will work.
Now, we'll take M. Shastri's point as the last point again, but let's just touch upon this as well. Bro, in Chhattisgarh, Congress made it 83%, including EWS, but still
Precisely.
Why was that?
Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, I think somebody raised a issue in the parliament recently that people from Pattharbazas are taking over Jharkhand, tribal lands in Jharkhand. Okay. So I'm telling you one thing, that they have overplayed the peaceful thing, the identity, the jo bhi ho. Abhi you will notice even Trump, I don't know how they'll do it. Trump ने भी वही किया है, वो जो immigration है and the price rises, Trump will use that, and जो भी vote Trump को मिल रहा है ना, बहुत जो ज़्यादा vote मिलेगा Trump को, that will be because of that. Now whether he will win or not, I don't know. That is different. वो अमेरिका का अलग हिसाब है. But I'm saying that certain issues like immigration, crime, your land going, your having more problems generally in society, thanks to people coming in who do not identify. Europe, maybe the right is on the rise. Nobody can deny it. Like all the left has to come together to defeat Marine Le Pen. Okay. So when you overplay,
that is why I'm wondering, can there be a, let's say, a situation where left academia in general collapses, social science collapses, and therefore Arun Shori's book becomes the Bible, and not you don't even have to bring up what Ambedkar
Arun
said.
Shori का book Bible होगा कि नहीं वो नहीं मालूम. But one thing I can tell you, humanities का I have heard this recently, that certain universities are being downgraded. Okay. क्योंकि ये social justice कर रहे थे, कुछ काम के नहीं कर रहे थे. In the recent times higher education thing, you will notice Australian universities and Canadian universities going down. You can Google it recently in ranking. क्योंकि इनका तो रिसर्च हो रहा है, कोई साइट नहीं कर रहा है, रिसर्च बहुत कर रहे हैं ये लोग. हाँ, पोस्ट मॉडर्न डांस वगैरह ये सब बहुत रिसर्च कर रहे हैं, लेकिन उनके ऊपर तो nobody cites that shit, right? It's not important. Most people. Yeah. And India में भी वही हो रहा है. There is no creative research in the social sciences. So क्या हो रहा है? I heard recently that University of Melbourne is leading a group called How to Make Humanities a More Attractive and More Strong Discipline. Humanities and Social Science. So there is something happening. What is ये backlash है? Market force तो है ना? अभी तो ऐसा ये the left loves India because of that. और इनका रतन टाटा भी उन्हें करके गया, किस फंड करके गया कि लेफ्ट लोग जो भी करना है करो, मेरे खिलाफ कुछ मत लिखो. हाँ. Now he's RIP, I respect him a lot. Now my point is that यहाँ पे इंडियन गवर्नमेंट भी वही करता है कि लेफ्ट यार मेरे खिलाफ कुछ मत लिखो, ये टेक 10 academic positions in postmodern interpretation of dance and crap like that. Now my point is that won't work in foreign places where people actually pay money for degree, right? You can do a degree on postmodern dance, but then what will you do? Work in McDonald's? So ये नहीं होगा. इंडिया में भी देखो, there is a very high dropout rate in these useless courses. ये होने वाला है, कुछ तो होने वाला है ना. And now if you need to learn sociology and history, you just need a YouTube premium. You don't even need premium. You just need a smartphone. You can learn a ton of crap there. So वही बात है कि I think Nina highlighted a good course. ऐसे टाइप का ही courses होता है. So what will happen is the market forces will not allow this socialist crap to take over for very long. उन्होंने they tried it with woking, they tried it. You know the whole woking thing anyway better than me. But woking चलेगा नहीं. जैसे Bud Light नहीं चला, वैसे woke academia का भी एक limit होता है. मतलब
so then is Modi right to not highlight non-leftist social scientists?
नहीं देखो, it will take a while. ये ऐसे नहीं होने वाला. अभी भी Amartya Sen is respected, right? Till the date Amartya Sen is respected, you can't have a lot of huge changes in society. You can't. You can't expect कल सब सीताराम.
So it's not happening up until 50 years about at least.
हाँ 50 ना बोलो, maybe next 5-6 years. And the biggest problem with the BJP is 10 years maybe, I don't know. See, the BJP's biggest problem.
Then why should Modi fund any
देखो BJP का अलग बात है. You have to understand. तुमको तो accelerate करना पड़ेगा. You have to put more educated people in your talking points, giving your talking points in not just Republic TV में चिल्लाना. You need to do that in the popular discourse. You need to make them मतलब जो भी हो, you need to give them to the public, right? और ये स्टेट तो पुश करेगा. स्टेट नहीं पुश करेगा तो लेजिटिमेसी नहीं आएगा. Not everyone has a Cambridge PhD from this thing, right? Like Anand Ranganathan and doesn't give a damn about talking about talking pro BJP points, right? People are hiding their faces. People who are not so support नहीं मिल रहा है. Like right wing अगर बोलूं हिंदुत्ववादी, you're not getting support from BJP. So
but why will the government invest in academia, create journals and fund people for their lifetimes and create an industry where people will want to get in if it's going to be destroyed in 10 years?
No, पूरा academia तो खत्म नहीं होगा. ये postmodern dance theory वगैरह खत्म होगा. Sociology, economics, history, these subjects have always been there. I'm just saying ये जो woke versions निकले हैं, crazy woke stuff from the 70s and 80s, and that's gone even crazier in the last maybe 10-20 years. वो खत्म हो जाएगा. जैसे people like Salvador Babones will always be appreciated because he does hardcore like good work in sociology, right? मतलब ये जो policy subjects है, ये जो मतलब you have to do some basic stuff.
Whenever there is a correction, it always ends up being an overcorrection, for which I think
वो
if
है
everything you are
वो हो
saying
सकता है.
will happen, then I think sociology will also probably
Everything will
disappear.
suffer. Things will disappear now, but suffer होगा. Things
Hmm.
will suffer. And I think what 240 did to Modi is, I think he is slowly maybe realizing, I hope he is. Let's see. Let's see.
Hmm.
So
Anushka and Shomiti, are you talking about
Harry Potter studies, postmodern dance, all that stuff will slowly, you will see evaporate in the next 10
Wait,
years or so.
Anushka and Shomiti, are you talking about Kobir Chattopadhyay, the singer-songwriter who teaches English in Ireland now? He's my age about, right? He's the son of ABP editor. Oh fuck! Are you talking about that guy, Kobir Chattopadhyay? I did not know that. Who I think what got called out. He was accused in the Me Too era as well. Holy shit! He's the editor of that. I really like his music though. Yeah, he was accused of molesting. Oh, he did PhD in Harry Potter. I see. ठीक
Anyway,
আছে.
chalo.
Yeah. So
Right.
last point for this, your thoughts on M.
Uh,
Shastri's comment on the screen. BJP's reservation policy is closer to Ambedkar's vision. They are targeting non-dominant Dalits.
True. I think Ambedkar would have also kind of said, yeah, good job. Like, don't. I think if you read Ambedkar in original, he was always against this kind of dominant caste politics and privilege politics and Ashraf and all that. Like, he did not like, basically, in one word, he didn't like pompous assholes. Okay. And that's why he didn't like that. So Congress does exactly that. The CPM does exactly that. और बीजेपी उस चक्कर में जाके बीजेपी has become something else entirely. बीजेपी has become beyond science. बीजेपी is beyond science. वो जैसे रजनीकांत का मूवी था ना, ये तो beyond science पूरा, ये beyond science है.
Okay.
हाँ,
So,
PhD hentai में you can do PhD in hentai. That's the funny
of
thing,
course.
which is why
You have to talk about oppression of women.
collapse. Which is why, because तुम्हारा जो PhD होगा hentai में, because many people are doing it, right, on porn, hentai, anime, all this crap, okay. तुम जो PhD करोगे, तुमको तो गवर्नमेंट नहीं बुलाएगा ना पॉलिसी बनाने में. गवर्नमेंट क्या पॉलिसी बनाने में तुमको बुलाएगा? What you will have is, at best, you will get some woke, maybe George Soros might fund you, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
वैसे भी
So,
इतने लोग कर रहे हैं, तुमको क्या फंड करेंगे?
Are you trying to say the left academia is like a tolabaj like Dawood Ibrahim, or are you saying they are feudalists?
Precisely why this is a life lesson from Ratan Tata. Pay the left. Okay, you will go down a hero. Pay the left.
Some leftists did point out that, yeah, if you capture people's lands and then let some stray dogs roam about in your offices, you get to be appreciated as a great man.
रतन टाटा ने जो किया था ना, नॉट रतन टाटा, टाटा ग्रुप ने जो जमशेदपुर में किया था, कैन यू इमेजिन अदानी डूइंग दैट, गोइंग टू ट्राइबल्स, टेकिंग देयर लैंड एंड देन पुटिंग देम इन ट्रैक्टर्स? कैन यू इमेजिन अदानी डूइंग दैट राइट नाउ? नहीं ना. So how does Tata Group go down in history as such a great entity?
Okay, I'll just ask you one last question for today. After that, we'll go offline. Which is this reminds me that since we are looking at a Bengal who is going to have an insanely uneducated, dumb fuckers of population in the next 30 years, how are we going to bring in industry? Because all of these graduates and masters people can't just do menial labor. They have not done a push-up in their lives. So who's going to be employed in what profession?
This exactly what you fear. What's happening already will happen more, that the educated bongs will run away. वैसे भी Bengalis का TFR is quite low, so next generation क्या करेगा I don't know.
Right.
Farming will not present a very good picture here.
It's already taken over by Muslims anyway.
No, so basically what will they will do corporate farming करके वो जमीन वमीन बेच देंगे सब.
Right.
पूरा state of West Bengal I believe will become a SEZ eventually. मतलब बहुत सारा industry आएगा, उसके benefit like because a ton of industry coming in might benefit some people just by staying there, whatever, वो हो जाएगा.
Huge concentration of wealth then.
Wealth hoga, but see, the problem with Bengal is right now any industry is better than no industry.
That is the problem. We are absolutely
So-
fucked. Anything is
so
better right than this.
you have
right
a
now.
ton of like SEZ type industries where
Yeah.
Ambani took over all the land
Yeah.
and grows potatoes everywhere, and you have जैसे मतलब you have tons of ये जो semiconductor है वो हुआ no ना भी हुआ Adani taking over all the ports and stuff, and you have a ton of manufacturing sector here. Influx of population might happen, from Bihar and all that might
Hmm.
increase. I don't know.
Hmm.
Now my
Hmm.
understanding.
Yeah, when the industry does happen, it will of course increase. But you see,
Influx of
Bengal
population,
is
which is not necessarily a bad thing in my opinion. For Bangla Pakko people will still keep shouting, but mainly जो होगा कि it will help because bongs don't have the TFR to support the next generation taking over.
yeah.
मतलब demographically we are screwed anyway. वो
Yeah.
खत्म मतलब
Now,
we have no chance of recovery in the near future.
Now, one thing that I had spoken to Ankit Shah about. Now, Ankit Shah is of course looked down upon as a fool by some people, but not everything he says is a complete joke. So I did ask him about his prediction of personally in WhatsApp or somewhere in Twitter that you are saying that there's going to be huge amounts of investments in in agriculture. So if that happens in West Bengal, that means complete wealth transfer to just mainly Muslims. Is that what's going to happen then in Bengal as well? As far as I remember, I'm not 100% sure. I think 40-50% sure that he said, yeah, that's going to happen. So firstly, West Bengal is more fertile than any other industrialized state in the country. So our that all that fertile land is going to be turned into just SEZs and made into factories. That's not a very good thing, not even for the environment, not for food productions maybe. But Hindus are definitely fucked. And what Kolkata people still don't realize today is that they are either living in a quasi Bihar situation, or they are looking at a situation where it does end up becoming Bihar absolutely and totally.
No, we are somewhere in the center. If we adopt more from the east, we become East Bangladesh, West Bangladesh, or we adopt more from the west, we become West Bihar. But either way, it's over. Like for Bong Hindus, it's over more or less. TFR ही तो नहीं है.
I agree.
How will you have a like population who speaks in Bengali if Bengalis only don't stay in West Bengal? Right. So
A lot of lower caste people who up until this generation stayed just in the mofusils and villages, they are finally going to come to the city, and they are going to have a fight on their hands with our bhais. And there are some Bangladeshi Hindus as well, the richer ones, the fake Bangals who I call them, but they are also settling in Kolkata. So it's going to be interesting. The liberal bongs are definitely done.
Still, I as far as I can say, and I'm gonna just cut the line after the do this after that. What I can say is Bengali jo bhi hai, even among Dalits and the OBC population and all, the lack of industries has made them so poor. The first thing people think is bacche kya karenge, like why should I have kids, what will I feed them? Are bhai, that's the counterintuitive logic that we have learned. Okay, that doesn't work. In fact, the opposite works. If you have maybe 3 kids, you can make 2 of them earn, even if one sits idle at home, right? But I think they adopted the former logic thanks to the Bhadralok class, who itself is going to vanish in the next 30 years or so. वैसे हम लोग ओल्ड एज होम में रहेंगे तब. माई पॉइंट इज दिस दैट ये भी नहीं कुछ कर पाएंगे. अल्टीमेटली इट विल बी पटना वर्सेस ढाका इन कैलकाटा. एक साइड से पटना आएगा, एक साइड से ढाका आएगा, एंड बोथ विल हैव huge thing happening.
And unless in the next 50 or 100 years, unless Indian government annexes Bangladesh or a major portion of Bangladesh, West Bengal is going to go through another phase of reformation anyway, and then it's absolutely fucked, and then West Bengal will have to be kicked out, and India ends at Bihar. That's another prediction of mine, which I hope never comes true, but I think will. On that happy note, welcoming a new era of Tollywood, Bohurupi, and the demise of Bengali culture. Thank you for joining, guys. Good night.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Good night, guys.
वंशवरूढ
दंष्ट्रां वरप्रदं हास्ययुक्तं त्रिनेत्रं च कपालकर्णिकाकरां मुक्तकेशीं ललज्जयं पिबन्तीं रुधिरं चतुर्बाहु समायुक्तं वराभयकरं स्मरेत् चतुर्बाहु समायुक्तं वराभयकरं स्मरेत् काली काली महाकाली कालिके पापहारिणी धर्मर्थ मोक्षदे देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते धर्मर्थ मोक्षदे देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते काली काली